Welcome back to another episode. On this week's episode,
So we have Starlink. Can of worms.
Can of worms. Okay, hold on.
Well, you can see the pieces of it.
Cans of worms.
Everywhere.
And we're at another standstill. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the shows. This is Ben, our jean vest loving, fearless captain. One day he convinced me to go along with him on the adventure of buying and moving onto a sailboat, Kiana. And since then, we've had no regrets. I'm Allie, by the way, first mate and fishing enthusiast. And together, we've been exploring the Pacific Northwest, and one day we hope to take her home and our surfboards even further. Oh, this is Bruce, our sandy boat dog. Thanks for coming along with us, and special thanks to our patrons for keeping us going. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell. Oh my god. I can't believe this is a thing right now.
Pretty stoked to announce that we have Starlink. This is Starlink. Yeah, let's pop this baby open and see if we can get some internet going.
He ate like 4 pieces of goose shit, and then I was like, Bruce?
He ate 4 pieces of goose shit.
And I was like,
yeah.
Bruce, if you eat another goose turd, I'm gonna smack you. And he walks like 2 minutes away, and he eats a piece of shit. And so I grab his face, and I make him gag, and he spits it into my hand, and it's human.
Alright, so the box is open. Oof. Starship. That is the size of the round dishy. It doesn't look like it's too complicated. So super small print, not gonna look at that. So first thing I'm doing, I'm taking the dishy out of the box. I'm putting it into the tripod stand. This thing is now set up. Make that work? As sailors, can we make that work? I think we can make that work. I think all you actually have to do is plug it in. Start setup is the next move. Starlink, yeah. Oh, Starlink right there. Okay, alright. Enter Wi-Fi network name.
What happened?
It says we're online.
You found portability?
It says that we're online. If you can get the opening to Breaking Waves.
Breaking Waves hand crushed by windlass.
Okay, this is Starlink right here. Starlink is doing this. We did it. We're connected. That was easy. All we did. That is the easiest thing in the world. All we did was literally plug it in to a outlet, basically, and it's working.
Project number 5742. Replace our PSS shaft seal. After doing some research, I realized that you have to take off the whole prop shaft. So there's a collar. This is what I learned. So this is a prop, the shaft seal. That's a collar. This is our shaft. This is a coupling. And I have to take it all off. I think this is gonna be one of Ben's jobs, but he's working today and I can't epoxy because it's supposed to rain. So I'm gonna start this and then we'll swap back once the rain's over because it's supposed to be nice for the next couple days. So I went ahead and I removed all the hose clamps and the screws and loosened everything off of the prop shaft in hopes that it would just slide out and we could access the shaft seal as well as the cutlass bearing from the outside, which was another job that we had to do while on the hunt. The episode showed this guy, of course, making it look super easy, and I was like, this is not.
So I'm taking the prop off. This is an original, like classic max prop, feathering max prop. So. Comes off as a unit.
Nice. He's ready to go. I don't understand all those long videos of how hard this is, because this is so easy.
The hard part is the next part. That is it.
I think removing the shaft is actually going to be the hard part.
You're good with shafts, though. Feels a lot stiffer now.
Does it? Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna get a bit of soap and put it on the shaft as it comes down.
We spent the next 2 days spraying knocker loose on the coupling, buying a coupling puller to try to get it off, putting soap on the prop shaft, and using emery cloth to clean up the prop shaft so that it would hopefully just slide through. But that coupling was just not coming off. Definitely been in better smelling places in my life, that's for sure. Which meant we couldn't get to the Cutlass bearing, which meant we couldn't get to the prop shaft seal. So I decided to leave that project to Ben and go work at something that I could actually make progress on.
Work, 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 work. It's hard to get work done around here with this. Work, 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 work. What are you working on anyway?
Polishing off this.
Oh God! Like, give it at least another hour. You.
Blowing
Looking good. Looking good. What else you got going on? Waiting for this repair to cure, or no? You're sanding.
To fix itself.
All the way to the other side. So
No wonder I can't get it off.
yeah, that can go nowhere.
So Ben just asked our neighbor for some help. I don't know if you caught that. About the coupling and why it won't come off. And he comes in and he takes a look and he's like, oh, there's a dowel pin in here. Which we were like, what is that? But it's a pin that goes like through the coupling and across the shaft. If you're pulling on the coupling, it's meeting this bar that's directly across. So that's both good news and bad news. Good news because once we remove that pin, then it should just come off. And bad news because we're like, well, we've been trying pretty hard to get it off and we hope we haven't done any damage. So we'll see. We're excited. Anyway, progress.
I'm hopeful that I didn't damage this pin with the force I did put on it with a gear puller. And also cautiously optimistic that today is the day that we're going to get the shaft coupler off. All right, our brother Michael next door helped us out big time there with the removal of our pin that I thought was a set screw thread. And now we're going to try the gear puller again and see if we can get this cork soaker off.
Get back in your hole. You get that coupling off or you don't come out.
There we have it. Yes, I do have an oily bilge, I admit. I need to take care of that, but that's the big boy that wouldn't let us remove the coupler.
What?
Yeah, baby.
All right, that's exciting. Now we can take the whole shaft off. Moment of truth. Oh.
Yeah.
And we're at another standstill. Well, this has been a bit of a never-ending story, hasn't it?
All right, so I've decided to just go for it and get these bolts out of here. The strut is coming off. We're gonna do this ourselves.
Nothing like using an angle grinder on the bottom of your boat to get your heart racing and make you rethink your actions.
Yeah, so I talked to BJ, the other scepter owner. He told me that these struts are definitely very much installed to not come out. They got some ribs on the top, adding to the bonding strength of the whole situation. And he basically just said, yeah, it'll come out, but you gotta get a big pry bar on it. You gotta get heat on it. It's a pretty invasive thing. And Ali said this all along, that we can just hire them to pop the Cutlass bearing out without having to remove anything. It's like a tool that the tech brings over, and it's like $150 an hour. And
Every boat job too, it's like a can of worms, right? Like you go in to do one thing and you find, you like open the can of worms of 4 different other projects. And I was worried about that with the Cutlass bearing and with this whole taking the shaft out. Like I didn't want to take the shaft out because that's a can of worms, which it is, because like we hit the rudder, then we have to take the strut off, and then once you take the strut off, then you have to realign, and like it's dominoes. So I didn't want to have to do any of that. But
so
yeah,
we're stopping though. We've probably already gone further than we should have, but we're stopping. We're going to hire Raven Marine to remove the Cutlass bearing for us, and we'll just have to fill back in the cut job I did of trying to get the strut out. That won't be that big of a project.
no, it's
Yeah, you got lots of experience with that kind of stuff.
Am I doing it?
One of us will be. I don't know. Not a great productive weekend so far.
Not all days are good days in a boatyard.
Well, I'm spending 5 days a week not even working on the boat. I'm just working on my job. So I get 2 days a week right now, and these 2 days, I don't feel like we got a whole lot done. I didn't get a whole lot done. Struggled with this job for quite a while now. We struggled with the solar panel wiring, but we'll get there. We'll be back on the water sometime before I'm 40.
It doesn't give us a lot of time. That only gives us 5 years. And despite being in the thick of their busy season, Raven Marine was able to send over their technician in a couple days. Oh, it's nothing!
Yeah.
Woo! All right. It only took, what, a half an hour pumping?
No, it's been almost an hour.
Should it be able to come right off now?
Should.
Yeah, I feel like there's a reason it had to come out.
Yeah, well, it's coming apart. I can tell that. You can see the pieces of it coming out the back here.
Damn. And a couple hours later, Raven Marine had the new Cutlass bearing back in. Meanwhile, over at the mast, I was trying to run a new cables for our electronics.
Screw you, screw.
But like any other boat job, it was turning out to be a can of worms.
Allie's using all the new techniques.
You know how you like start on one project and then you end up doing 4 different other projects?
It's called 1 step forward, 12 steps back.
That's what it feels like all the time. It's like super stuck. The cords, I can't even budge them to pull them down, the old ones out. So Brent came by and was like, I guess you're gonna have to take your track off and find out where it is, like why it's not moving. And then I tried to take the track off and it's like corroded on. So right now I'm working on removing these screws to take off this thing, but it's super corroded. And once I take this off, then the track should be able to slide down, and then we should be able to find why the cables aren't moving.
Can of worms.
Can of worms all the time.
All we have is can of worms.
Cans of worms.
Allie's making some progress here.
When I finally did get the track off, I found that somebody was nice enough to put spray foam insulation and silicone inside the mast track and all over top of the old electrical cables. So they were not budging. Unless, of course, I cut out all the spray foam and cleaned it all up. What I thought would only take a couple hours took an entire day. But by evening, we had new cables run, and Ben and I were sanding the red, flaking paint off of our mast. That's a wrap, folks. We learned a lot this week. Shout out to our new patrons, Gus Bradley and Jonathan Drinkwater. Thank you guys for joining the team, and we'll see the rest of you at the next episode. Have a good night, folks.